Coming up on today's special edition of Family.ie, a conversation with a large talented family known as the Willis clan.
Pay the piper well and bring him a drink of brandy. Up he'll strike a tune, play it so fine and dandy. Call the local lads, gather the neighbours' daughters. We shall have a dance down in the fields below.
We're glad to say that they'll be performing at concerts all around Ireland once again throughout the month of April.
But if there's 50 righteous men, will you stop and think again? Would you spare that city down below? Down below, would you spare that wicked city down below?
We'll tell you more about that throughout today's programme, and stay tuned to hear a few stories behind some of their original songs.
I was so inspired. On the ferry, in the middle of the water, looking at the cliffs of Moher, started writing a song. And it was quite fun because this story just came to mind, and I wrote about this sailor boy that everybody started freaking out, thought that I had flipped over this Irish sailor boy. So it's a lovely mystery to trick people with. It's pretty funny.
Beware of young Irish sailor boys who spend all their lives on the sea. Night and day you wish that you'd never set eyes on the ferry Jack Bay.
That's all ahead on today's edition of Family.ie. And you're very welcome along. I'm Ronan Johnston. Last time we heard how the dad of the group, Toby, tragically lost 5 of his young brothers and sister in a fatal car crash. That event, fortunately, was not the end of the story. Toby and his wife Brenda moved to Nashville, Tennessee with their own 2 young children. Stephen continues the conversation now as Toby and a few of the Willis kids tell more of their story.
Hi everybody, this is Stephen Cardio.
Hello. Hello.
Hi there. That's a great chorus of hellos.
Okay?
I can, yeah, thank you. Would you introduce yourselves and tell us who you are?
Jessica is here. I'm the oldest kid in the Willis clan.
This is Jeremiah. I'm the second oldest.
I'm Jenny, I'm the third oldest.
I'm Jeanette, I'm the 4th oldest. And that's it.
Yeah, and
Dad's here
Toby's here. Dad's here, yeah.
Great. And is Brenda with you as well?
No, she's watching the little ones. She took them out of the house so they'd be quiet.
Okay. Toby, I know that you have been a great athlete yourself, and my colleague Roger was telling me that you had the potential to compete in the Olympics, and you were curtailed by an injury. But obviously you've understood that life isn't always as straightforward as we plan it to be. Did you find, Toby, obviously raising 12 children is a full-time job in itself, and that's a big challenge, and it's I myself have children, not as many as you have, and I realise just what a big commitment it is, and developing musical talent in them, did that come naturally, or do you think they just had a natural grow for it, or was it because yourself and Brenda were interested in music and taught it to them that they took it up, or what?
As we were bringing up the kids, part of the question was, how are we going to train the kids? And everything from, what's important in life, what skills are we going to teach them? And one of the things that Brenda and I both loved music. We both were musicians, and my wife played guitar, I played piano. So we started teaching them, and then we aimed high. There's no question that we wanted to be good, not just playing an instrument, but being really good musicians. But in many ways, things have kind of taken a life of their own. The kids have become real good musicians, and now it's a matter of feeding the beast. It's grown into the point where the kids are now a band. They're doing really well, and just released their first CD. It's interesting. Who knows what would have happened had we not exposed them to music and so on. And I mean, we exposed them to a lot, but you never know. I mean, some of our kids, took to it easier. And then there's different facets of music. So there's so many different instruments. There's singing. There's different genres, and we expose them to a lot. But everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. The big thing was river dance that really opened our eyes. Now, I'd been listening to Irish music before that. My parents had, my dad was Scotch-Irish, and so I grew up, my dad had some records in the house of Irish music, but I didn't realize it. I'd kind of thought, I would have called it folk music. I didn't know at the time, what all Irish music was. So I grew up listening to some of that. Even when I got to college, there were some of the CDs I was buying it was categorized under the New Age, genre. And yeah, I had no idea that some of the artists I was listening to was Alton and Night Noise and some of these others, and of course Enya came around. But I was listening to Gaelic singing, not even. I'm like, man, I really like this, but I had no idea that it was Irish and so on. And it really wasn't until Riverdance and all of a sudden we were able to connect. Oh, this is the stuff that I've been liking all these years. And then it was, at that point, once we had a good sense of direction, then it's a lot easier to learn and find more good musicians and so on, and festivals. And my wife is part Irish, and so, we had some Irish and Celtic influence on both sides. So it was just, hey, we love the music and the dance. We got the kids involved in dance and a lot of different things. So
for us here in Ireland, Toby, the arrival of Riverdance on the Irish culture scene in, I think it was 1994, was really a transformational moment in Irish history, in modern Irish history as well, because it made what was probably a pretty fringe type of music, which was admired by those who had, it part of their natural culture, became mainstream.
You know what? For us, when we saw Riverdance, it was finding home. And the music and the culture and the dance and stuff, it was like, that's what we've been looking for. And it wasn't just like, hey, we had no idea of this. I lived on the south side of Chicago, and it was huge Irish neighborhood. And, I had no idea. I had grown up around all these pubs and all these, things that are traditional Irish and various people and their names. And I had no idea just how I'd been told, how that a lot of this stuff is Irish, but man, once Riverdance hit, then it was just an awakening of the roots, and it was a wonderful thing.
And they certainly have blossomed from those roots. In 2012, they competed and won in the All-Ireland Fiachol 2012 in Cavan. They also played 3 concerts in Bantry, Limerick and Bray in County Wicklow in aid of family.ie.
I really liked them. They were really good.
Great to see them. A great ad for other young people. They're so gifted.
The kids are brilliant. I mean, the kids are so good, it's scary.
Yeah, I think they're amazing and incredibly talented. Absolutely marvellous. Everyone should hear them and see them.
Absolutely fantastic, and I'm just sorry for the people who aren't here. We've got to get these guys back. Fantastic.
They are truly amazing. I really love them.
And we're glad to announce they're coming back to Ireland. They'll be performing all around the country throughout the month of April. For full details on when and where you can catch them in concert, head over to family.ie and click on Meet the Willis Clan. We need to take just a quick time out right now, but stay tuned because when we continue, we'll hear a couple of their songs and the stories behind them right here on family.ie. Welcome once again to today's edition of Family.ie. We've been getting to know, or maybe getting reacquainted, with the talented family of musicians known as the Willis Clan. Toby and his wife Brenda have 12 children, and they're all multi-talented musicians that have been enjoying tremendous success both in the US and in Ireland. To introduce us to a few of their songs, as well as the stories behind them, back to the conversation with Stephen Cardy.
We have been working on composing and arranging and coming up with music for a number of years now, as Mom and Dad have been educating us and exposing us to different genres. And like he said, Irish culture and music and dance was one of the first places that we really took off and we really fell in love with first. And since we moved to Nashville, we have dabbled in other things, and there I think we'll have a future in other areas as well. But this first album, we kind of feel like was definitely born out of our roots, as we named the album, and the first stuff, like our first true love, so to speak. And everything on it is original, and it was either written by one of us kids. I wrote the songs, and Jer and Jen both have some tunes on there, and it was just a lot of fun to see these ideas that maybe we had written years ago, kind of all, or maybe right on the spot as we were in the studio, kind of all come together, and it's kind of like a little sibling or a little child. It's you're getting to see your idea be born and actually come to life, and so we're really, really excited about this album coming out.
I think I have 2 or 3 tunes on there myself, and I know Jer has more.
We just got it up on iTunes.
Yeah, it's just coming online now. So obviously we'll see how that's responded, and we sent the album out to some of the press and some other other musicians, and the feedback so far is good, but we'll see what the general population likes.
We've had 2 release concerts here in the Nashville area, and they have gone really well, but it's kind of friends and family, so to speak. So yeah, like Dad said, we're excited to be going in other locations and showing it to people maybe that they don't know us, they've never heard our music before, and see what their opinion is.
What inspired you to write maybe some of the songs that are on the album?
I have a number specifically on the album. It's called Jack B. And I believe it was last time we were over, we had a wonderful bus driver named Michael Meir, and he was taking us all around the island. And we had been to the Cliffs of Moher before, and they're just breathtaking, just gorgeous. And he asked if we had ever been down on the water. We'd seen him from the top. We'd walked along the rim and everything. And he said, well, you really need to get on a ferry and go see them. And so we changed our plans and went along with his suggestion. And it was just marvelous. And I've always had a fear for large bodies of water in the ocean in general, and being on small boats on the ocean. And it was so gorgeous I didn't even think about it. I got on the boat, our whole family's out there. It's this little ferry, it's getting tossed about on the water, and it was just, had a fabulous time.
Yes, I know the place well.
I was so inspired. On the ferry, in the middle of the water, looking at the Cliffs of Moher, started writing a song. And it was quite fun because this story just came to mind, and I wrote about this sailor boy, and named the actual boat Jack B, which was one of the ferries right there in Doolin. And there was just enough of reality, in other words, the name and everything, that everybody started freaking out, think that I had thought that I had flipped over this Irish sailor boy. So it's a lovely mystery to trick people with. It's pretty funny.
I met me an Irish sailor boy who spent all his life on the sea. To this day I wish that I'd never set eyes on this very Jack B. His cheeks, they were wild and rosy. He considered life's dangerous play. His eyes were as green as the breakers, and as bright as the light ocean spray. 'Twas a hard-tasted debate that was cruel, as cruel as any can be. For 'twas then that my poor heart was stolen by the young sailor boy and the sea. It was just back on the ferry Jack B.
from their album Chapter 1 Roots. That's the Willis clan here on today's edition of Family.ie. Again, this fantastic family of young musicians are coming back to Ireland soon. They'll be performing all around the country, and I'll give you details on how to find out when and where before we wrap up today. But if you just can't wait that long, you can find out all the information on our website, family.ie. We'll be back with another story behind the music, as well as those concert details. But don't forget that you'll find many other helpful resources, many of them free, all designed to help you and your family thrive. So be sure to stop by www.family.ie. That's family.ie. Welcome once again to Family.ie and the conclusion of today's programme called Meet the Willis Clan. Stephen Cardy has been chatting with a few members of the band as they prepare to take a musical tour of Ireland once again throughout the month of April. Just before the break, Jess, the eldest member of the band and lead singer, explained the story behind a song inspired by a boat trip near the Cliffs of Moher. Now back to the conversation with Stephen to hear the story behind another one of their tunes.
Speaking of inspiration, she also, on her new album, Jessica wrote a song called The Rambler.
Oh yeah, The Rambler was the song about where the young man comes and is fascinated by the mayor's daughter, and he has such a rambling lifestyle. The father doesn't entirely approve, and so the girl and the boy decide to run off regardless.
You know, Jessica's just turned 20, and, I'm kind of like, you're writing songs about eloping. Yeah, that's really good.
I think I need to be a little bit clear about which stories are fiction, which ones are true. Dad gets a little worried sometimes.
Yeah, he hopes you're not practicing for the future, I guess.
You never know.
That's where the all those martial arts wrestling training comes in. You know, I got to keep those boys away.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep all the boys, just the wrong boys away.
Yeah, exactly.
There once was a lad who lived in the mountains, ran through the valleys and played in the fountains. A merry adventurer, wild and free, the ramble in life and him made a grave. Of love he was so worn to never acquire, free from the chains of a sweetheart's desire. Many a woman was sorely dismayed, the lively young lad they could not dissuade. One morning in June, while out on the water, the boy caught a glimpse of the mayor's own daughter. In all of his travels he never had seen a sight like the lassie that stood on the green. He rowed back to shore, so determined to find her. Into the town he endeavored to spy her. Soon he arrived at her father's own door, the home of the girl he had seen on the shore. He knocked at the door and spoke to her father, requesting permission to call on his daughter. But the mayor refused it, and try as he may, the lad was condemned for his rambling way. He turned in dismay, at a loss how to win her, once so contented, his heart turning bitter. When who should go out from the window above, but the maid he desired and wished now to love. Pray tell, is it true that you roam through the mountains, run through the valleys and play in the fountains?
are absolutely thrilled that you're coming and that we're going to meet you. But on the night when people come to hear you, what can they expect? What would you normally do at an event?
They can expect to see a lot of young people on stage having a lot of fun. I think we'll probably do a lot of the music off our album to kind of try that stuff out for size. I know a lot of people, us as well, we love some of the native music from over here, the country and the bluegrass music and the blend in between. So we'll definitely be bringing all of that, I think, on stage.
Yeah, we'll definitely do the Irish, stuff off our Irish album. But coming from Nashville, I know there's a lot of people in Ireland who actually like the bluegrass and the country stuff. So we'll do some of that too, and we'll just see what people like. I think we're going to leave our electric guitars and drums at home. Sometimes we can rock out that way too, but it's just it's hard to fly all that stuff over there. So I think we'll stay more acoustic based this
Although
time.
you might be surprised how a mandolin or acoustic guitar can jam out even without all the electrical equipment. So each performance always has a life and a fun time of its own. So you can never really tell exactly what's going to happen, but definitely something fun and good, and with the whole family involved.
Save it for a moment like today. What can I say? What can I say?
You've been listening to Family.ie and our special programme today called Meet the Willis Clan. And as we've mentioned, we'd love for you to come to see them in concert. It'll be a great night out for the whole family, so don't miss this amazing young band. Jess, Ger, Jen, Jet, Jackson and Jetty, and maybe a few others, touring all around Ireland in the month of April. Again, you can head over to www.family.ie for more details on how you can meet the Willis clan in person. So until next time, I'm Ronan Johnston, and on behalf of our own Stephen Carty and our entire team, Slán agus Banach Cliv Gilert. Thank you for listening to Family.ie, helping families thrive.